Hi everyone. Okay, I'm so excited to get this webinar started, but before I do, I just wanted to pop on here and show my face, say hi, and then I'm going to switch this over to a PowerPoint here real quick. But I'm so excited to talk to you guys about what's going on in India and everything that's coming up, so give me just a minute. Okay, here we go. Get this started here. Okay, so I want to start by asking a couple of questions. So, are you someone that's looking for more freedom in your life? Maybe you want to work where you want, when you want, maybe you want to travel more, but basically, are you looking to create a lifestyle-friendly business? More importantly, are you someone who is from India and currently living in the United States and Canada? Or maybe you just have connections to India? Then I have something so exciting to share with you. I've been waiting years to share this information. Because right now, there is no better time in the history of the world to start your own business and to create your own financial freedom. Now is the time to dream big and find a way to live your passion and create secondary income. Technology is allowing us to do this. So now is your opportunity to play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, and earn a higher income. It's time to share your gifts with the world. And my goal with this webinar is to share with you how to become financially independent, how to create a lifestyle business in 2 years, and what in the world does this have to do with India? So I'm going to try to make this quick because I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm not going to ask you to sign up for any coaching fees or sell you a package of $500 to work with me at the end of this. It's nothing like that. I am purely looking for connections and people who have connections to India. And if you do, then you can change your financial future and I can show you how. So this is exciting because, like I said, I've been waiting to share this for years and absolutely no one knows about this yet. So let me just kind of introduce myself a little bit. My name is Melissa Bird. Most people call me Mel. And I became an entrepreneur at the age of 19. I'm going to walk you through a little bit of my story just so you can understand a few key principles I learned along the way. But when I was 19, I was really lucky. I was in college and I got a job working for some entrepreneurs. And they were young, ambitious guys who'd moved to Seattle. That's where I was going to school at the time. And this was in 1998, 1999. And they moved to Seattle and they started some stores that sold cell phones. And this was right around the time when no one had a cell phone. And I know that's hard to believe because everyone has them now. But at the time, nobody had them. They were very new and everybody wanted them because it was the very first time that you could get a cell phone that was affordable. There was a company that came out, it was called VoiceStream, and VoiceStream was actually giving you a phone for free if you would sign up and pay for the minutes. And so it was a really good time to be selling cell phones because nobody had them, everybody wanted them, and they were finally affordable. And so really good timing. And I got a job working for these guys, and they're working in their store, and I was an in-store sales rep, and I was paid hourly. I think I was making minimum wage, something like $6 or $7 an hour, and I was earning a small commission. I remember I made $8 a phone for every phone I'd sold in the store, and I was working full-time. I was working 40 hours a week. So at this time, it was my second year at university, so I was a sophomore in college. I was going to school full-time. I was training for the soccer team. I was trying to be social, and then I had this full-time job, and it was taking up all of my time, but I needed money, so I had to do it. What else can you do, right? And I'll never forget the first time I actually had to miss a holiday with my family because I had to work. So, in America, Thanksgiving falls on a Thursday. I had school up until Wednesday, and so I remember I wanted to spend a little bit of time. I didn't want to miss a holiday with my family, and so I remember I decided to drive home late Wednesday night so I could be there Thanksgiving morning, and we ate dinner around noon so I could participate, and then I had to get in the car and drive home and be back in Seattle. I grew up in Spokane, which is about 4 or 5 hours away, but I had to be back in Seattle so I could work Black Friday. I had to work the Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And I just remember how much this sucked. Like, I just remember having a job and working for someone else. Man, they control your life. They control your schedule. I could not believe that I had to miss a holiday with my family and friends. And it started to really, bother me. And so, I had to have a job. So I did what I had to do, and I worked the holidays. And, a couple months after this happened, I started to notice that there were these other guys that worked for my boss, the owners, and they would come and go as they pleased. They didn't have a schedule that they had to keep, and they were just making a ton of money. They were working way less than I was, and they were making way more, and I didn't understand it. So I found out that these were commission only employees, and they were making way more money. They were working way less hours. So I was working, to give you an example, I was working about 40 hours a week, and I was making $1,800 a month. That was about average with my hours plus commission. And these guys were coming in and out of the store, maybe working 10 hours a week when they wanted, never had to miss a holiday, never had to work on a weekend, and they were making $5,000 a month. And I thought, this is the way to go. I want to be a commission-only employee if I get to choose my schedule. So I asked my boss if he would teach me how, and I ended up switching from being an hourly employee paid rep to an outside representative position that got paid only commission. And let me tell you, life was good. I was young. I was able to make anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000 a month. And I was able to do this all throughout college, just depending on how much I worked. And I started to understand the very first thing, what it went like to have complete control over your schedule and to be your own boss. I loved it. It was amazing to experience this at such a young age. So while all my friends in college were working as waitresses and they were working as receptionists, I was out playing and enjoying life, and I just had to sell 20 phones a week. And I knew if I sold 20 phones a week, that would make $1,000. And so I just did that on my schedule when I wanted. And some weeks I worked and some weeks I didn't, but I was able to have enough money to pay for things that I needed and wanted. So I remember I bought my first car at the age of 19, and I paid cash. I didn't have to get a loan or anything like that. I was also able to pay for all of my college with no debt. I had no debt when I graduated from university. And I also got to do a lot of fun things. At the time, I was dating a guy who lived out of the country. He lived in Canada, and I could fly up and see him whenever I wanted, or fly him down to visit me and pay for the tickets. And we got to do a lot of fun things. We did some ski vacations in Banff, which was close to his house. And, we went out to the Colorado Rockies and skied out there. And it was just really a fun way to experience going to school. And so the first thing I learned is that I could make more money if I learned how to sell a product than I could be if I was just an hourly paid employee. And if I had a product that was new, it was going to be easier to sell than if no one had it, and than if everybody had it. So I was really lucky that I found a product that no one had, that everybody wanted. It was much easier to learn how to sell, and I could make good money. And then, I got a little bit burnt out. After a couple years of doing this, I was consistently selling anywhere from 20 to 80 phones a month to make the money that I needed. And the owners of the company came to me and they told me I could recruit a sales team if I wanted and teach the people that I recruited how to sell phones, just like I had been doing for 2 years. And if I taught them and supported them and I trained them, they would make the same amount of money that I was being paid commission-wise. But they would also pay me an additional $10 for every phone that my team sold. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. If I could go out and get 5 guys and teach them to do what I've been doing for 2 years, and I'd make $10 off of every phone that they sold, even if they were only half as good as me. So even if they couldn't sell 20 phones a week, what if they could each only sell 10? Well, if I had 5 guys selling 10 phones a week, that's 50 phones a week. And if I'm making $10 off of them, that's $2,000 a month. And I wouldn't even have to be the one selling the phones. I could just train and support them, and I would make about the same amount of money that I was making. And I'd have a lot more time to do what I wanted. And I did that. I loved that because now that I had a sales team, I had more time and, again, more freedom to do what I wanted. And so I decided to move to Hawaii. And I did a semester of school in Hawaii because I had a sales team back home working for me. And then I also moved to Huntington Beach, California after I graduated college and continued on with creating sales teams and different things like that. And I got to live on the beach. And I had complete control over my time. I absolutely thought it was the best thing ever. And so I learned another lesson. By the time I was 22, I learned that it was great to develop a sales team. But then something happened when right at the end of my 22nd year. I was 23 years old, and I discovered that the owners of the company, they were paying me well. And I really liked these guys. I had a good relationship with me. So they were paying me $50 a phone, me and my team, and, my $10 override. But I learned that they were making something ridiculous, like $500 every phone that I sold. I was making 50, but they were making 500. And it blew my mind. I was the one out doing the work, and I was the one making the sales, and they were making 10 times more than me. And I just couldn't believe it. It was just so disappointing and discouraging. So I decided that I wanted to be the boss. I wanted to be the owner of a company. And so I decided I needed to go and start my own marketing company. And so I found a product that I wanted to sell. And it involved working with salons and day spas. And I went out and I started a company that helped build up clientele for salons and helped create some new business and sell some products. And I started my own company, and I did the exact same thing that I had been doing for the years before. I was, recruiting people, training sales teams, recruiting people, training people, teaching them how to sell, supporting them. I was doing nothing different, but this time I was the one that was making the larger portion of the sale. I was the one that was making 10 times more than my employee was. And it was good. I actually loved it. I expanded that business to 8 different states, and I owned that company for about 8 to 9 years, all throughout my 20s. And I just created a really nice little niche for myself. It gave me a lot of time. I had a lot of time to explore and travel the world. I went to 40 different countries. I did road trips around the United States, and I've been to almost every state in the US. And I got to move wherever I wanted, and I could take summer vacations wherever I wanted. I remember one summer I moved to Maine, and I decided to be a camp counselor there and teach little kids how to water ski because I could. I had complete control over my financial future. So I did a lot, and I'm so grateful that I had the chance to do that. It was amazing, and the thing that I learned in that chapter of my life is that I needed to be my own boss, and I needed to be the master of my own fate and control my destiny, and I needed to create my own financial welfare, and that's what I did throughout my 20s. But the thing that I had always loved was this idea of residual income. And so, I didn't have any residual income in my business. So what I decided to do was to invest in real estate and rental properties. And I did this and had 4 rental properties by the time that I was 28. And it was pretty good. It was pretty smart. At the time, I thought that was a really good decision to make. So then something happened. I got a little bit older, and I was approaching 30, and I started to realize that I had done a lot of things right. I had made a lot of really smart decisions throughout my 20s, but I'd also done a couple of things wrong. Number one, I didn't love selling, and I wasn't the best at selling. It wasn't my favorite thing to do. I'm sure a lot of people understand this, and that you can get burnt out on selling if that's why people have to progress and become managers, because selling is sometimes not fun. And I also realized it was hard to find good employees. And so that started to irritate me a little bit. It was, really hard to find people that cared about my business as much as I did. And I also realized that I kind of had a dead end business that couldn't grow. It couldn't expand beyond me. So every year I had to go out, and if I wanted to make the same amount of money, I would have to go out and find new contracts. I would have to go out and find new customers. And oftentimes I'd have to go find new employees, and then I'd have to find new territory. And so every year, if I wanted to grow and expand, I had to start over. And that was really frustrating after doing this for 9 years. And the other thing that I realized is that I had one-time customers. I had no residual component to my business, and I was paid a one-time commission. And while it was really great at the time, as I'd been doing it for 8 or 9 years, I just realized this was not smart money. And then the other thing that I came to realize was that while I had 4 rental properties, those rental properties were not making me any money on a monthly basis. They would be in 30 years after I paid off the mortgages, or I would have to invest $1 million to pay off the mortgages right now, which I didn't have. So I had no residual income coming into me at the time, and it was just kind of this dead end position with my rental properties, and because I didn't want to wait 30 years to make the money off of them, and dead end with my current company. And I was just tired, and didn't really think that this was going to take me where I wanted to go. So I did something, which is I started looking around. I started looking at different opportunities and different businesses and different ideas. I knew what I wanted. I wanted residual income. That was really important to me because I didn't want to work forever, and I didn't want to be in the hamster wheel where I just kept making the same sales one time. So I knew I wanted something that could grow and that could build. and that if I made the sale, it would continue to pay me. I knew I wanted to have leverage. I knew I wanted to be able to build a team because more people's efforts are better than just one effort. And if I'm making money off of more than just myself, that's smart. And I've learned that, and I wanted to continue to do that. So I was looking, and just like you are today, I found something online and I watched a video. And there was a man, he was on there and he's talking about a network marketing company. And it was a really well-established network marketing company. It had a great reputation around the world. I knew who they were. And he said, we are not yet in Vietnam, but we are going to be. And so we are looking for people who speak Vietnamese right here in America who want to become our leaders and want to get involved. And I will never forget this moment because I heard that. I just heard it once. But I was sitting on my bed and I thought, wait. I could be the first to be one of the first leaders to expand this huge network marketing company to Vietnam. Wait, no one knows about this yet? And I'm one of the first to find out. I remember sitting there watching this video. I dropped my pen and I thought, that's it. I'm going to Vietnam. And that's exactly what I did. I made that decision and I had no knowledge about the company other than I knew they had a strong reputation. I had no knowledge about the products. I just knew opportunity. I recognized a good opportunity and I decided it was time to ask questions. I set up a meeting with the guy on the video and started asking questions about the products and about the company. And I just knew that this was a really good opportunity. I identified that. And that if I could be one of the first, I might never have the chance to do something like this again, because this is really hard to find out. I mean, people keep this information very private. And so at the age of 30, that's exactly what I did. I decided to close down my company and shut it down. And I built an international network marketing business in Vietnam. That has paid me residually for over the last 7 years. And so what does that have to do with anything that we're talking about today? Well, let me show you some pictures, because what I did in Vietnam and built this international network marketing business has really been life-changing, not only for me, but for thousands of people over in Vietnam. It's really been quite an amazing experience. I ended up moving to Vietnam. You don't have to move to an international country to expand there, especially with video conferencing and social media and Skype and all of these different things that we have today. We didn't really have all that when I started this. So I eventually moved to Vietnam and I lived there for 2 years. And what we did is we implemented a system that people can follow and that used to create duplication. And it's been 6 years since I moved home. And I have leaders in Vietnam today that have made over $1 million in commissions, over $1 million in commissions. And it's not just one, it's a couple. There's multiple people that have done it. And then I also have thousands of people that are making anywhere from an additional $500 to $1,000 a month. That is changing their lives. So in Vietnam, when I moved there, the average person was making $300 a month. And when I could show them how to change their life and double their income and make $600 or $1,000 a month, it was life-changing for a lot of people. So this business didn't just develop people's lives financially, but we also helped them personally as well to grow and to become leaders and to better their future. I'll never forget the time that I was working with a woman and I had to show her how to use a laptop because she'd never used one before. And this wasn't like 20 years ago. This was like 8 years ago. It was crazy that she had never used a computer before and I was able to help her learn how to do that. So this business has been life-changing, not only for myself financially, but personally, and thousands of countless other individuals. It was something that's become really rewarding, and it's been really great to be a part of something that is so much bigger than myself. And so anyway, like I said, what does this have to do with India? Well, I'm going to say the exact same things to you that was said to me when I watched that video, 10 years ago. India is not yet open, but it's going to be. And right now we are looking for leaders, people who live locally here in the United States and Canada that are from India or have connections to India, and that want to get involved, want to help us expand our brand starting right here in the United States and become our leaders. You guys, no one knows about this. No one is doing this right now in the United States. And so you can do the exact same thing that I did in Vietnam. I will help you. I will show you. I will work along beside you, just like my mentor did with me. And together we can go and expand this brand and create some really amazing things together. And you can be the very first person. So I used to say this in Vietnam, look, this is a huge opportunity for me. I could go and be one of the first people in Vietnam. However, I don't speak the language. I have no connections to this country. I just moved there and started making friends, right? You guys have family, you have friends, you have relatives. This opportunity is big for me, but it's 10 times bigger for you. You have the opportunity to be one of the very first to bring this company and these products to the Indian communities. And so that is kind of what we're talking about today. We know that our products are going to be successful in the Indian communities. We have some products specifically for that demographic. We've been testing them out in Europe and in South Africa, and the people in the Indian communities over there, they sell out. They love this stuff. And so, now we're ready to expand it right here in the United States, and you can be the absolute first. No one is doing this. You can be the first to bring this company and these products to market, and I can show you how. So I discovered some things the hard way. It took me 10 years to find an opportunity that was really worth putting effort into. Making sure that I had a residual component to my business, and you get to cheat. You get this information right up front. You get the easy way. So let's talk a little bit about network marketing and kind of where we're at timing wise. I don't know if you guys know this, but over 44 million Americans have a side hustle. That's 4 out of every 10, or most of them are millennials. Over half of them have a side hustle, because that's what you got to do today. Having multiple sources of income is empowering. It gives you the opportunity to pay for things like weekend trips or having the car that you want. Maybe you just want to pay off your debt. Having extra cash to supplement your lifestyle is extremely smart, and it is a necessity. So, if it's not to pay off debt or anything like that, you can use this to build wealth, to build something for you and your family that's going to pay you forever. And this is, it starts out as a side hustle for most people, and that's totally fine. That's where we expect it to start, and it can turn into a career and a job that you love. I love doing this business. I love being able to talk and connect with people from around the world on a daily basis, helping them change their life. So, don't wait. Don't say someday I will enjoy financial freedom. Someday I'll go on that special trip. Someday I'll be able to help people. Do it today. Now is the time, when you're finding out about this in such a unique way. Don't do this the hard way. Don't realize 10 years down the road that you hate having a boss. Don't realize that when you do work for somebody else, that you are making money for their financial future and their dreams, not your own. Most people will never have an opportunity that is this rare, this unique. Most people will never know about our company expanding to their country before it happens. And most people will never have the right team to mentor them or show them or work with them on how to do this. It's just a rare opportunity, so I hope that you guys take advantage of it. So if you're like me, you love the idea of network marketing, of residual income, but hate how people do it, then do it in a different way. Be the first to bring this company and these products to India. Like I said, I can show you how, but first let me give you a disclaimer. India is not yet open. We are not currently doing business in India, so we are currently looking for leaders and connections in India to people are right here in the United States, right here in Canada. That's where we begin. So I'm going to end by sharing a couple stories with you guys real quickly. And it's about people that have done the exact same thing that I'm talking about with you. Expanding an international network marketing business. So story number 1 is about this translator. Her name's Shumi Ru. She works with our company, and she got involved as a translator. I think she was 19, maybe 20. This was 30 years ago when our company was expanding to Japan. And she was translating for the leaders, and she, when you translate, you hear what they're saying. And so she was listening and paying attention to the stories, and, she was speaking with leaders and translating for them, and decided, she asked them, is this something that I can do? I mean, can I introduce people to you? And if I know my uncle is really good at business, will you meet with him, and will you talk to him about this opportunity? Well, of course, they said yes. and she got involved. She was a translator, but she also introduced people, and she found some leaders that she built a team with, and over the last, I think it's been 30 years today, she started as a translator, and she has made over $20 million with this opportunity in the last 20, 30 years, however long it's been. $20 million. And she was just a 19-year-old translator that was listening, and she was smart, and she got involved. The second story is just the first mover. This is someone who expanded to Vietnam. He worked over there, and he worked here in the United States, and he was the very first person to start doing and expanding this brand of the Vietnamese community. And he did it just like we're going to do with India. He expanded right here in the US and Canada and built a very large team. Because he realized, yes, he could move to Vietnam, even though, he has connections there, but he could go and try to begin when the market opens, or he could start right now in the US and he could build leadership here. And he developed his team. He started 3 years before everybody else. And he developed hundreds of leaders in the United States and Canada. So when the market opened, it wasn't just him in Vietnam building the brand and building the market. He had hundreds and hundreds of leaders that were on his team doing the exact same thing. And it's just exceptionally smart. And that's what we're doing right here, right now, today. So he was the first mover. And then the third story I'm going to share is about a woman named Paige. I've heard her share this story many times. It's one of my favorite stories because to me it's just unbelievable. But she shares about this time where she was asked, she was right out of college, had some extra money, and she was graduating from the University of Oregon, and she was up in Eugene, Oregon, and there were some guys up there that were starting a company. And they asked her if she wanted to invest some, because she had some extra money at the time, and they said, if you can give us $15,000, we'll give you 30% ownership in our new company. And so she asked, okay, well, what's your new company? And they said, well, we're building a company that sells uniform and athletic gear to sports teams. And she says, well, I'm not an athlete. I don't know anything about that. And they said, well, you don't have to know anything about it. We're having a little bit of success. We think there's a good market for this. She said, well, I don't know. I'm not an athlete. I don't know anything about it, so I'm going to pass. And she passed on the opportunity. And you guys know what she passed up? She passed up the opportunity to have 30% ownership and be one of the original investors in a multi-billion-dollar brand that we know around the world today as Nike. And she shares this story and this mistake because she's trying to teach people, look, there is nothing more expensive than a missed opportunity. She was right there. She had the opportunity in her hands, and she didn't take the time to look. She said she would never make that mistake again. So when she was approached to help expand our company to an international market, she jumped at it. And then today she's made up for that mistake she made with Nike, and she's been financially independent and free for the last 20 years. So right now, everyone is looking for a lifestyle business. Everybody wants to learn how to make money online and to be in control of their financial future. And because of technology and social media and video conferencing, this is totally possible. So right now, I'm looking to mentor 5 new people in the business this month to help with this expansion. You must be willing to learn. That's one of the most important things. We do have fun while we're building this business. You can do it traditionally or on social media. We'll teach you ways to do it both, and just do something that your future is going to thank you for. There is no cost to start up. There's 24-hour support, 7 days a week. There's training, everything that you need to be successful. You have everything to gain, nothing to lose. And just remember, 6 months of hardcore focus and alignment can put you 5 years ahead in life. Don't underestimate the power of consistency and desire. You have what it takes to become the best that you can be, and don't ever doubt yourself. Harness your power and exceed your expectations. I'm going to end with this as my favorite place. This is my laptop lifestyle and my complete freedom. My favorite place to be is up on a lake in Montana, in the mountains, and I love that I have the opportunity to work where I want, when I want from wherever. I can do business right here on the dock of my favorite lake, my favorite place in the world. It's because I made a decision 10 years ago to get involved and to learn about this business, and I'm so glad that I did. So I'm just going to let you guys, know I would love to talk with you, and if you're interested, schedule an appointment, and I can get you more information about our company and our products. But basically, I want to remind you that this is the most unique and rare opportunity that you will ever have. It is very rare to find out information about this, about a billion-dollar brand that's going to be expanding to a new market. So take advantage of it. Be the very first people to get involved and get started right here, right now. Create your own lifestyle business, make money online, earn a residual income. And then between me and my mentors, we can show you how, and we'll work alongside you. You guys will be doing this with people who have 20 years of international expansion experience. And so, fill out the information and get in touch and schedule a time to talk. I'd love to talk with you and help you learn more.